Thank you for joining us on the Real Authentic People podcast. My name is Maya.
And I'm Sade.
And I'm Donna.
And we are ran by the Diversity and Equity Center. We aim to be a transformative, anti-oppressive space that disrupts white dominant culture and inspires marginalized students to unapologetically take up space and be leaders and decision makers of social change in our communities.
Here at the deck, we have 3 affinity programs, the first of which is called Thrive. And Thrive aims to create supportive and validating spaces for women of color to show up unapologetically as their full selves. We focus on developing leadership skills to support women of color students on campus, examining systems of power, privilege, and oppression as it relates to walk experiences, and building lasting relationships and connections. The second which is called the Men of Color Affinity Group, or MOCA. They are dedicated to fostering a supportive community that empowers men of color through dialogue, mentorship, and advocacy. We aim to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion by addressing issues of identity, masculinity, and social justice while providing a space for personal and academic growth.
Our third affinity program is QFAM, and QFAM is a support program for LGBTQIA identifying students. They engage in study sessions, fun activities, identity exploration, community building, and forming connections with other LGBTQIA identifying faculty and staff across campus. Here at the Diversity and Equity Center, we also provide 2 other programs, the first of which is called Culture Corner, which is a place to foster discussion around socially relevant topics.
Our second program is Find Your People, which is a space to collaborate with student organizations and clubs across campus to facilitate community building opportunities around certain identities. Past Find Your People events have included First Time in College, LGBTQ plus BIPOC, bisexual identities, and multiracial student. Hey, what are we chatting today about, guys?
Let's talk tokenism.
Tokenism. So, does anybody want to define tokenism for us? Okay, I'll do it. Tokenism is the practice of making a superficial effort to include minority groups without offering genuine opportunities or equality.
How have you guys seen tokenism play out in your guys' lives? Whether it be yourself or someone else around you and, like, someone you know and love, or, like, even your own family members. Which I hope you, like, sorry, I was just, like, meaning, like, on a closer level, or, like, you know what I mean? Because, like, we are women of color, so I'm hoping that not every single one of us have had this experience, but
I don't know, it was always, like, the only, like, Indian person, the only, like, very, like, ethnic presenting, like, biracial person, like, in my community, pretty much. Yeah, just little things like that. It felt very, very interesting.
How did you feel at the time?
I didn't really care at the time because, like how my parents raised me and stuff, like, they always made sure to tell me, like, good things about, like, myself, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, you're so filled with culture and, like, all these other things, right? So I just always perceived it as that. But once white people came into the mix, I was like, hold on. You guys are, like, going about this in a very poor manner, essentially. What about you guys?
I feel like recently is when I noticed that I was, like, about to be a part of tokenism, you know what I mean? Like, or I was about to be the token, and it was more freshman year. I'm in my junior year now, so this is 2 years ago, guys. But I didn't really notice it much, like, growing up, because I feel like growing up, I was never the token. If anything, it would have been my group that would have been the token, if that makes sense. So I would have never noticed it because the people around me weren't, tokenizing me. Like, that's just how I grew up, at least personally, with my friend group. But then I came here, and I was able to make acquaintances with more white people, by choice, question mark. But then I realized, I was like, okay, maybe they're not that bad, is what I thought. And then as time went on, I would hear, oh yeah, I went back home, and they didn't believe me when I said I had a black friend, but then I showed a picture of you, and I was like, oh.
Whoa. That's so loaded.
Oh.
That's really loaded.
I was like, oh.
I wish everybody could see Sade's face right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so then it was kind of like one of those, like, was there just a bunch of things that I just didn't notice while I was friends with, like, again, like, this didn't really happen to me, at least in high school. And if it did happen in middle school, I just didn't notice, I guess. But this was, like, my moment where I was like, oh, wow, I was a token. I was genuinely the token, and it was embarrassing because they were so loud and proud, like, I have a black friend. I'm like, I'm not a pet.
Yeah.
I'm a person.
That is so
Yeah.
funny. I don't know. I think in my earlier days, I don't think I ever. I think if I did go through that or go through a bout of tokenism, I don't think I was necessarily like aware what's happening. I don't think I've been through very big like tokenistic situations when I was younger. But I don't know if this relates, but this is how I'm thinking about tokenism now. So like I don't know how to like explain this in a way that's not really like super loaded. But here on campus, like I'm part of like the Black Student Union, and then like we have in our jobs here at the deck is like basically to put our like cultures on display or whatever
Yeah.
and sell. So we're basically selling a product. This tokenism to me is just like marketing tactics, and it's like to some extent us working in the jobs that we have is tokenism. This university, in my opinion, and the rest of this country, in my opinion, will do things like put minoritized people on a pedestal and not actually give them what they need to stand tall or whatever, right? So like I feel that very heavily in the community that is Central Washington University.
Yes.
So I feel like my role as a black leader is fake in a way, and like our jobs as living diversity, in my opinion, is also fake in the same way, because at the end of the day, you're still not giving us as an organization or as a student or as just me by myself what I need to be
Right.
prosperous, basically.
Right, and that's something that I was thinking about. Like, primarily white institutions are very quick to use the images of women like us, but once it comes to certain conversations, certain resources and stuff, it's like, oh, like we can't do anything. Like we don't have any money. Like you guys aren't a profitable sector or anything.
Right.
So it's like, wow, should have thought of that before slapping these like the images of women of color onto your brochures, pamphlets, etc. It's like let's think about the social implications of that for a second.
Like just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So something that I really wanted to talk about was like places where tokenism can be found, like especially in the media. Day brought this up to me yesterday, and I was like, wait, this is like a very loaded conversation. Do you remember that Disney show, Jessie?
Jeez Louise, dude. That was before I deleted TikTok. That was all over my For You page, like the discussion of like Ravi and Zuri and like their backgrounds. I was like, yeah, it was actually pretty bad.
Yeah, like at the time, I think at the time when I was a kid and I was like, just watching TV, it was like cool. It was like nice to see. You know what I mean? Like, wow, there's people who look like me on this screen, and I feel like that's really not something that I grew up with, like in Western media. Like, I feel like now there's been like a shift, kind of like surrounding like Indian women and like Indian people and stuff, and I feel like we've been like that kind of media has been so much more produced and accessible like in the West, but looking back on it, like when I was a kid, I always felt like there's nobody like to represent me like on TV and stuff. And so yeah, I just think like that whole thing like about that show, now when you think about it, like after pursuing like higher education, learning about like stuff like this, it's like, whoa, this is so deep. We could write like a 10-page analysis on it, I think. Because I think they used to like looking like think when I think about it and look back on it, the things that they used to do in that show were like racist. They weren't
even like.
Yeah,
They were
racist, and you couldn't even perceive them or call them microaggressions, because that's a macroaggression. That's a macroaggression, babe.
Do you guys remember the episode with Zura and her birthday? How like she wanted.
I was just thinking about that.
It was like they set up the whole terrace to look like Africa.
Oh my God, I remember that episode.
I say that in quotes in case you couldn't see me, but it was just like, oh my gosh, it was so bad. And how she said, it was so bad. And how she said like she wanted like a unicorn to like they stuck the. It was like that episode where they stuck the stick in the zebra. I was like, oh.
I remember that. I don't know if I remember this correctly, but their idea for her birthday, without even talking to her, was to give her a trip back to Africa, basically.
Yeah.
To bring it to New York on a terrace. But what she wanted was like ponies and like like little kid things.
Yeah.
And I didn't watching that episode. I was like, I don't think I ever like clocked that T. But looking back on it, okay. How did that leave her emotionally? Okay. And to watch them jab that thing into the forehead, and she's a kid, she thinks it got murdered or something.
Oh my gosh! And then there's that one episode later on. At this point, they're all grown, and I'm pretty sure at this point this is the year before Karen Barrar ended up actually like producing Bunked. So this is the year before. So he's almost in like full control, or not full control, but he's almost the director.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he ends up being the director for Bunked, and that's why we don't really see him in much of the episodes. I mean, we do see him in some, but also I didn't know that his accent was fake until after.
I was
crazy.
thinking about that too. I was like, there's no reason why he needed to, like, an accent needed to be written in. Like, zero reason.
But I was thinking about the episode where they were, I don't know what it was, but like there was a dream that they were in Bollywood, and I swear I remember his outfit specifically looked like Jafar from Aladdin. Y'all are gonna need to look this up because I they were all doing a dance, and like it was bad. Dude, it was bad.
I like low-key hate seeing randomly written in like Bollywood-esque like dance scenes and like cartoons and TV shows, especially like just like in that context, you know what I mean? Because it's like first of all, this is poorly produced. This has been poorly made and poorly characterized in my opinion, and I can think that about like so many things. And it's just like uncomfortable because it's like if I wanted to see this, I would have just turned on a Bollywood movie, honestly. Like, honestly.
Low-key, I don't know if this is on topic, but when you guys were talking about the accent being written in, also correct, right? It kind of makes me think of Black Panther and like Wakanda and stuff, because there was a conversation after that movie came out, like all of these different like African accents were like from different places, and they were supposed to be like one unified like not settlement, but like place or whatever, and how like a lot of the actors in the Black Panther movies were African Americans, but not like actual like African actors.
Interesting to me is that like as like, you know, you get older, so like you start watching like different shows and stuff. I literally can't watch like anything made between like 2007 and 2012, you guys. Because I'm like, oh my god, like this is again macro aggressive. Like I started watching this one TV show. It's called Greek. It's so silly. It's like a really, really silly, like shallow type of like show. It's about like Greek life at some school in like Ohio or something, or Illinois, I don't know. And it's about like sororities and fraternities and stuff like that. And what's so interesting to me, and I noticed it like immediately as soon as I started watching this show, it's like a sorority, right? And then it's like all white women, and then one black girl, and then like one Indian girl that comes into the mix like way later in the show. And it's like the same situation with like the fraternity too. Like they have one black guy in the fraternity, and then he's gay. It's like, okay, you guys were hitting all the markers with that one, I guess. Good for you. And another show that, which I'm like disappointed to like say, but also like I'm gonna clock it because it's what I see as a person of color. Have you guys ever seen Desperate Housewives?
Mm-mm.
It's okay, a really good show. Like, so it's like the plot line is like really, really good. It's like set in the suburbs. It's all these like moms that live in the same neighborhood and stuff. And they're all like, they all have like different kind of like family dynamics and stuff like that. And this show, the older that I get, the more I realize like that this is not a good contribution to society, basically. Because in Desperate Housewives, there's a character, Gabrielle Solis, and she's like the only like Hispanic Latina person in like the show, basically. And the way that they portray her is insane work. Like they really make her out to be like a gold digger, which like she very obviously is. Like she always tells her husband like, I'm gonna leave you if you're broke. Like, what are you talking about? And she's always like dressed very like differently than the other moms. Like they're wearing very like suburban mom-esque things, and she just like she dresses fire. Like she just wears like really cute stuff, but it like obviously like sexualizes her and stuff as a Hispanic person. And so I just like I've been thinking about that a lot recently. Like, wow, we are literally consuming racism in like small doses all the time, which is insane work.
That is super real. That makes me think. Okay. This makes me think of Disney movies like what's the one movie with the bear and the boy in the jungle and they're singing and stuff?
The Jungle
Mowgli.
Book?
Yes,
Oh.
Mowgli, but the one before that, the Jungle Book, the Jungle
Oh
Book.
yeah, it is called the Jungle Book. The little boy's name is just Mowgli, I think.
Yeah, but then they remade it and then that movie's called Mowgli.
Oh, okay.
Right. That the Jungle Book, the one movie that had the theme ride that's now the Tiana ride or whatever. It was like the dude in the cabin, he's singing to these kids and stuff, and like movies like that, and then other old movies that like the one with the cats singing and stuff. I don't know what's the one.
Cat in the Hat?
No, but it's a Disney movie.
Pets?
No, the cats they like sing and whatever. It's like the movie Cats, but the one that was created before that one.
Oh, it's like old and it's like a cartoon. It's like a little white
Yeah.
cat with a pink bow.
Yeah.
God, what is that movie called, you guys?
Huh?
Hold on, I'm gonna search it up.
But movies like that versus movies that we see today that are supposed to be like inclusive air quotes movies. I seen like a thread or something how different it is now,
Mhm.
and like that kind of it makes me think about tokenism only like slightly, I guess, because of like people were saying like they weren't trying super hard to be inclusive, they just were inclusive. But then we got movies like Pocahontas that really romanticized all of that. And it was like, so like we were okay, and this kind of goes back to consuming like racism micro doses, because we were okay with watching movies like that and subjugating like our parents subjugating children to like watching these movies with these really deep underlying messages. So y'all go watch those YouTube videos about how Disney was racist back in the day. But like
Still.
it's that part. And like how we like consume that and internalize it kind of a little bit, and then we see movies where they're trying to actually do representation correctly, and we're like, nah, man, let's go back to the good old days where they would just da-da-da. But we were okay with like disrespecting, like
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
disrespected. You don't have to agree. I don't know if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Also, the movie is called Aristocats.
Aristocats! Yes.
I never watched it.
I didn't know that it was it's talking cats in France. Love that.
Mm-hmm. But like, they're like all the cats though are coded to be different types of people, and it's like what are these twin cats? They were supposed to be like Asian or something. I don't really know.
The Siamese cat.
Yes, and they're singing and stuff. Turns out that like that trope is like super
Yeah, it's like
racist.
racist.
Yes, and so like I don't know, like having the different coded type of people, I guess, also kind of like feels like tokenism, kind of, because it's like we're not actually talking about the problem here. We're just like using these people and like making cute little funny meme tropes to them. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I think another one more place where tokenism can be found, guys. I feel like another place where tokenism can be found is especially in academic settings as well. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this video. It's really silly. It's this sorority group, and it's like a lot of them doing like this chant thing, and they're like clapping their hands and like saying all the same words at the same time, and it's like 40 women. Like it's kind of unsettling to like look at, and they're all wearing the same exact shirt.
Oh,
And-
it's probably their like
Yeah, their sorority chant.
yeah.
And no disrespect to Greek life, I just remember this part specifically. It was all the same like genre of white women essentially, and then there's one Asian girl and like one redhead, and they keep pointing the camera to these two women in particular. And they were like, I was like, oh my god, you guys are literally, once again, like you said, marketing. You guys are literally marketing these kinds of people, which like terrifies me, because it's like what that does is not only, for one, give companies the incentive to look at people of color and be like, this is a great opportunity for us as a corporation, but also like it was just, I found that on like TikTok, on Instagram and stuff. So it's like children are gonna see that kind of stuff and be like, period.
That part. Oh my gosh. I was also gonna say this is super random, but I was thinking about Spider-Man just now. No correlation to this conversation at all. And I was thinking about how like mathlete teams. This kind of goes back to education. How mathlete teams will be like, well, we need at least just one girl. Like no matter what, we just need one woman on the team so we can just like go and participate. But then that female on the team could be subjugated to like harassment or like bullying from the other people, and it's like, well, they only need her just to like be there so they can fulfill the requirement, but like not actually care about her or like what she's saying. I think that came from more of a specific movie than Spider-Man, but I just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Do you guys like have any shows that like you really like that like represent diversity in like a good way, like not tokenism? I will say I only watched the first season because my dad stopped paying for Netflix. But I really did enjoy Never Have I Ever. I kind of did enjoy it.
I enjoyed the show. Didn't enjoy her actions.
No.
It got better though.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. I enjoyed the what's it called? The cast that they had. I don't even really remember anything about the show. I watched it like so long ago. But I really enjoyed the cast. Like, I don't know, it was just so refreshing to me to see that. I think I was like 17 or 18 when I came out. I think I was still in high school. And I really remember watching this and like taking note of the fact that there was like hardly any white people on that show. I was like, this is interesting. This is fire. Like, that's really cool. It felt like, it just felt like something I did want to watch, you know? Because, like, not only was, like, an Indian girl the main character, but, like, all of her best friends were, like, different race people and stuff. And, like, her love interest wasn't a white man. It was not a white man. I was like, thank God, we've been freed.
Yeah, it was.
Paxton? I thought he was Japanese.
Oh yeah, he's he's Japanese and he's white.
Oh.
But sorry. Oh, right. You didn't continue watching.
Yeah,
That's
I
why.
didn't. Yeah,
Sorry.
I only watched. Yes, I'm spreading misinformation right now.
I was like, wait, I was like-
I only watched the first season, so.
If you continue watching, it doesn't end with a yeah.
No.
It doesn't end like that. But it was. I did like that show also because of the fact that it didn't feel like watching Jessie.
Yeah, I didn't feel tokeny, you know.
And like the thing was, she was in a school with majority white people, but that's not what you saw because that's just not who she surrounded herself with, which was, in my opinion, real cool.
Yeah.
I didn't love her actions again, though. Just saying, I don't condone any of the things that she did on that show, but you know, she was a grieving girl entering high school, which makes sense. Her dad died before, that's why. Like at a music concert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just trying to make life. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then she went and stuff because she was super terrified.
Yeah.
I don't think I consume enough like television media. I'm gonna call it that. TV shows to like actually be able to like input on this because like I consume a lot of Black content, but like it's usually just like short things, and I watch a lot of Japanese anime. So I don't know.
I love Abbott Elementary.
I was gonna say that too. I really like
Dude, it's so
Abbott
good.
Elementary.
It's like, I thought it was, I can't say that because it's going to spoil for anyone who doesn't watch it yet. But yet, emphasis on yet. The cast is literally, there's only one white person. He's the token. And that's what I find really funny. It's like, or not funny, but it's like, okay, so you get how it feels now. It's like, I feel like if there was a white person watching that show, that they would feel how I feel watching any other show. Does that make sense? And that's where I feel like, especially as someone who's going into the teaching field, like that just kind of felt close to home, if that makes sense.
Oh, I love that.
And there's, I could agree that there could be a little bit more representation on the show, like, but in the context of where it's at, it's in Philadelphia, right? And it's one of their least funded schools, which makes me also even more sad that it's all primarily people of color there. So, yeah.
Oh my God, that is so sad.
Yeah. because they literally talk about how like the show, very first episode. So I'm not spoiling. The show is supposed to cover Abbott Elementary's glow up, and their glow up is supposed to be getting more funding and stuff like that because all these students of color, like they were excited about getting Khan Academy because they didn't get Khan Academy, like they didn't have the internet access to have Khan Academy, which I thought was just like it's just
criminal.
Khan Academy, but like to them Leapfrog, they didn't even have that. Like when their mat was like when their rug was really dirty for story time, like they had to go out of their way just to get a rug. Like that was just
And you know what I thought was really interesting about Abbott Elementary, that they did that crossover with Sunny.
I didn't like it.
Did you watch it?
I watched it.
I haven't seen it. And, and you know what? Someone was like showing me It's Sunny one time, and we were like, I think like 10 minutes in, and I was like, honestly, I'm gonna need you to turn this off because I think It's Sunny is like as a person of color, it doesn't feel good to watch at all. And like that's a question that I have for white people too. Like whenever they watch listen. Whenever they watch something like Abbott Elementary or Never Have I Ever, something that's really centering the POC experience, I'm like, do you guys feel uncomfortable? Like, be honest, do you feel uncomfortable?
Do you feel how we feel everywhere else?
Yeah. I'm not saying that like I want you to or like you need to or anything. I'm just wondering, like truly.
Especially with the way that at least in Abbott, because in Never Have I Ever, they never really portrayed white people to be like, a white person. But in Abbott, they do, because it's like, I've never seen one. You know, I don't care. I'm going to say it. If you don't want any spoilers from 1 minute of a episode, feel free to skip this next minute. Anyways, so in season 3, episode 1, since they weren't used to having a white kid in their school period, the principal comes out. She goes, runs back in. She says, I just saw a ghost, y'all. And then all the staff comes out. They're just like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden she goes, oh my gosh, they multiplied. And it's the little boy's parents. But the only reason why he's in this school is because they're building a golf course outside in the community to finally, because it was now they're talking.
Yeah, I was about to say, gentrification.
They're touching on gentrification now because now it's affecting their students that they have currently. And yeah.
Makes sense.
I really liked that part. It was like during a Christmas episode or something. What's the teacher's name with the really short hair?
Barbara.
Oh. Okay. Barbara and her
Yeah.
interaction with like the Muslim student that she had, and like how the Muslim kid couldn't participate in like the Christmas thing that they were doing, so she like did something else for her to do, and I was like, God, like I love this.
Even if it was just one student, because she was a little kindergartner, and then when she found out that they weren't doing the Christmas show, she went, really? And I was, it was the.
So I think something important to say is that like tokenism definitely can reinforce the idea of harmful stereotypes, because like we were talking about earlier, what it does is it makes a single individual person be like representative of an entire ethnic, racial, cultural group, and so it's like that is so misinterpreting the experiences of people of color.
Yes.
And it also doesn't change anything. You know what I mean? Like, just because you have, like, that show Greek, like, just because you have an entire sorority house full of white women and you're casting these women and stuff, and then you bring in one black girl, it's like, you did not solve anything just now. All you did was, again, let the media consume these small doses of racism, and it's like we don't even, like, you kind of have to have a deeper level of like critical thinking to notice things like this. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people out in the world, and sometimes even people of color, who don't necessarily notice these things. Like, it wasn't until I was like in high school, college, that I was like, oh wait, this is tokenism.
But that's also because tokenism can be like masked under the words opportunity or representation. Yes. So it's just like when you're in that space, you kind of feel like not you kind of, in my opinion, some people can end up feeling kind of like guilty because just like, okay, well, why am I not thankful to be in this space? I got this. I'm in this position, so let me do something with this position. But at the same time, you're also, there's in the back of the mind, your mind, you know that you're only here because you're a token.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like, okay, well, they don't even want me to succeed, so why should I try? And I understand that logic. So not even sometimes. I understand that logic because it's just like I don't have my community around me to help me because you, higher up, are not letting me.
Yeah. It's like I'm just here for show.
Yes.
You know?
Because hire someone else like me then.
That part.
Hire the rest of my community. Give all of us a fair chance.
All right, y'all, we just want to finish off by saying tokenism often maintains existing power structures by providing only symbolic representation, therefore delaying genuine progress towards equity and inclusion.
Period. As always, if you guys want to continue these conversations with us, we are located in Black Hall 101, open Monday through Friday, 1 to 7. On Fridays, we close at 5. Come see us. This was the Real Authentic People podcast. My name is Maya.
And I'm Sade.
And I'm Donna.
Bye.